What's up in War Eagle War Report family? You got Ike Jones. We're back with another morning drop. Facts are not Friday, so y'all know we got to get into all of the questions that y'all have coming up, and y'all know how we do right here, War Report style. Let's drop it on them.
You are now listening to the War Report. Drop.
Morning drop Friday, January the 12th, 2024. Facts are not Friday. Hopefully everybody's Friday is off to a good start. Even though the news isn't what everybody wants to hear, we're still going to be here screaming War Eagle and all of those great things. Before we get into the questions, of course, I want y'all to do the necessary sharing the video out there on social media at the War Report. You can like the video if you please, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. As per usual, so I'll address just quickly. I'm not going to do a whole separate live about it, but I will address the resignation of Zach Etheridge, which came out publicly this morning. Definitely been rumored for a while that he had been looking at other opportunities at other schools. So this was kind of another inevitability. But Zach Etheridge has resigned his position as secondary coach at Auburn University. I expect some hirings to start popping up here in the next 24 to 48 hours to backfill the recent resignations. But just want to definitely give a salute to Zach Etheridge and the 3 years he spent at Auburn as a secondary coach. He has been doing a phenomenal job on the recruiting trail, and wish him nothing but the best in his future endeavors. And hopefully he'll still give us, Coach E, you still owe us a building rapport, man. I'm going to hold you to that, even though you're not coaching here no more. You're still a Auburn player and a former Auburn coach, so you need to come sit down with your boys, man. I'm not Caddy, that's you too, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let's make it happen. Anyway, well, let's get over into facts and nah. We are going to, like we said we were going to do this year, we're going to look back at the previous week's facts or nah and see what happened with our questions from that week and see how we did in far as facts or nah is concerned. So I'm going to get it started off with that. Then we will get into the Twitter questions that you guys submitted for this week before we get over into your live questions here, which it seems like everybody is preoccupied with talking about Coach E in the chat. So I don't even know how many facts or nahs we're actually going to get this morning. This might be a real quick show. All right, but let's get into it from last week. Twitter questions from last week said, facts or nah, Auburn signs Judkins from the portal. This proved to be a nah. He is headed to Ohio State. I wasn't really high on the prospects of this, but, good to see that young man find a new place. Let's see. Next one here said, facts or not, Auburn will have a different starting QB other than Thorne next year. Too early to determine on this one, so we still have to wait. I am still in the camp of he's got a shot, but I think that it's likely that he does start right now. I don't know. It was still too early. Let's see here. The next one here was facts or not, Auburn will hire a new offensive coach this season. This is definitely facts. So we definitely know that this one is happening, a new offensive coach. Multiple coaches on the offensive side, whether that's coordinator or other positions, will be hired this offseason. So definite facts here. Facts or not, Auburn's men's basketball finishes third or higher in the SEC this year. I think I said that this was I might have said facts on this one, but listen, I still think that Tennessee, Kentucky, and who else was I high on? Ole Miss. I still think that those are three good teams. Auburn still has a really good chance of finishing in the top five, though. So that was it from last week's facts or nah. And we will get over into this week's. Appreciate everybody who submitted questions out there on Twitter. And we will get into the questions that you guys have going on from there. So let's get into this week's facts or nah Twitter fam questions, starting it off here with War Damn Eagle for Life, tweeting at Bowman1193, says, facts or not, Auburn men's basketball will finish the regular season with 5 or less losses. 5 or less losses for Auburn men's basketball. Let me think about that. We've already lost 2 games. So you're saying we will only lose 3 games remaining on. I'm going to say nah. Yeah, we're going to lose more than 3 remaining games. We still have Kentucky and Tennessee, I think, twice on the schedule. I'm not looking at the schedule. Maybe I should just pull up the schedule instead of trying to guess. How about that? How about we do that rather than trying to guess about what the schedule is going to be? Just pull the schedule up. You know what I mean? So we can be looking at the thing together. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know why I just did all that. Auburn men's basketball. All right, let's look at the men's basketball schedule. And see. I'm gonna go nah though, man. I don't think that only 3 losses for the remaining season. All right, so next game is against LSU tomorrow. Then we're on the road against Vandy. I think we can win both of those games. Versus Ole Miss is going to be a tough one. We're beating Bama. Screw them. Mississippi State. Mississippi State's actually pretty good, and it's at Mississippi State. Versus Vanderbilt. Again. Oh, we play Vandy twice. Dub City. And then at Ole Miss. I don't know about the one at Ole Miss. Playing at Florida. Versus Kentucky. That's a home game. At Georgia. At Tennessee. At Missouri, and then another Georgia game. I think we'll lose more than 3. I'm going to go nah on this one. More than 3 losses on the season left on this schedule for Auburn. I'll go nah. Let's see. This basketball team, Chris Causey tweeting at Causey Can. See Causey Can. Facts and all, this basketball team will make it to the Elite 8 or better. Elite 8 or better. Ooh. I feel like this is a team that could do that. I feel like this is a team that could get to the Elite 8. We've got enough balanced scoring. Guard play has been good. I think you're going to see Aiden Holloway come into his own as the season progresses. And yeah, let's do that. Facts. Yeah, Elite 8 or better. I think that's a good place for this team to land as far as a ceiling is around the Elite 8. So we'll go facts on that one. Let's see here. Jacob Smith says, tweeting at Jacob_C_Smith says, a little flair of football and basketball in this one. Facts or not, Auburn men's basketball makes it to the Final Four, and Freeze lands a top 5 recruiting class to keep all of the momentum going for Auburn just as Saban retires. Final Four, I don't know. I'm with you on the Elite 8. Final Four is tough. There's some really good teams. I think it's really like I'll say right now I'm gonna go nah on that. It just kind of depends on what the draw is, right? Like sports is so much about matchups and not necessarily about whether a team is good or bad. It's about good matchups. And this team isn't flawless, right? So it's not as if they can just go out there and walk over everybody. This is a really good basketball team, though, very balanced. The Boog in me wants to go facts on the Final Four thing. And this is why I don't like when y'all tweet 2 things at the same time, because now I got to go facts or not on 2 different things. And I need to be able to say facts or not on one thing or not. But the top 5, I'll go facts on that portion of it. So we'll go nah facts on this one. Chris Causey coming back saying facts or not, Auburn will land some of Alabama football's transfers in the wake of Saban leaving. I'm going facts on this one. I think we will see at least one somebody that either so this is a good question because I don't think like getting out of your national letter of intent and transferring aren't the same thing. I don't know if all of the players who were early signing day folks or early enrollees over there, if they've enrolled already, then they can't do that. They'd have to transfer. They wouldn't transfer this quickly. I think some is where I'm going to go nah on this. I think at least one. So I'm gonna kind of hedge on this one and say nah, not some. At least one somebody from that Bama program will land over here. Somebody who's not just committed to the rivalry like that, just wants to play football. Stuart Donald. Ooh, but you know what? Some means more than a couple though. So I don't know. I'll stick with nah. But I do think we have a good chance at more than one, though, actually. Stuart Donald comes in. Facts are now 1 year from now, Auburn has a higher ranked recruiting class than Alabama. This all depends on who Bama hires. Depends on who the hire is going to be, because I mean, Bama's not just going to all of a sudden lose the machine that helps to create some of this, even though Coach Saban was a crucial portion of this machine. I think Auburn's just recruiting well enough. I'm gonna go facts on this. I think Bama, they're used to being top three, and Auburn's gonna creep up into that top three spot. Georgia's still going to be up there at the top, and I think Texas A&M actually is about to go crazy this next recruiting cycle as well. So I think, Auburn's got a good chance to be up there in the top three, and Bama has a chance of falling out of it in the wake of Nick Saban leaving. This is all, again, pending who the head coaching hire is going to be over there, but I'll say for today, I'll go facts on that one. All right, that is all that we have from Twitter today. Appreciate everybody who jumps in here and kicks it with us. We're going to get over to the comment section, but before we do, of course, we got to give a shout out to show sponsor, as everybody is going crazy in the land of Auburn sports. It's a good time to visit the Rogue Shop. RogueShop.com, using code RAPPORT. When you do that, get you a little something off of your purchase. Sleep, stress, anxiety, pain relief. Rogue Shop's got a remedy for you. Make sure you hit them up. America's #1 online dispensary is the Rogue Shop. RogueShop.com, using code RAPPORT. Over to the comment section now. Again, a lot of just kind of sidebar stuff happening over here, but I will focus on the facts or not questions. Chris S. jumps it off with facts or not. Wade slides inside to left guard. This is in reference to Auburn landing the transfer left tackle from Mississippi State. And people have, listen, a transfer offensive lineman coming in that has starting SEC experience definitely means that he has an opportunity to start immediately. So that is an opportunity for Wade to slide into guard. I don't know that he's ever I feel like I've asked him this question. Has he played anything besides tackle? I don't know that he's played guard before, whether or not that's a natural adjustment for him, or whether he could move over to the right tackle spot and compete over there. But it will be interesting to see kind of what happens there. I'm going to say facts on this right now, though, actually. I think his experience and his size allows him to play that position fairly well. And he's a physical guy, so I'll say that he can slide into that left guard slot. I'll go with facts on this one. Chris K jumps in and says, facts or not, Ryan Williams commit/signs to Auburn after all this turnover. Right now, I'm still going to lean on facts for this one. I think he's moving in this direction. Of course, all signs right now from all of the recruiting services that follow this closely say it's a down to a 2-school race for his new commitment, as he has decommitted from from Alabama. It's between Auburn and Texas. And so I think Auburn has a slight lead right now, but Texas is definitely a possibility. And I'm still not counting out Texas A&M, where his wide receiver coach went. So right now, I'll say facts on this one. There's still a little bit of time left, and if he is going to be true to his word about giving Coach Freeze the last visit, Auburn still has a very good chance to land this recruitment and complete that Freeze 5. Susan Scales jumps in and says, facts or not, T. Reed stays at Auburn. Right now, I'm going facts on this one. I don't think Trevon has any plans of going anywhere anytime soon. And when you say stays at Auburn, I think you just mean for this offseason. So, I think eventually even he is going to move on to somewhere else, and Auburn fans need to just embrace the reality that, it's a possibility that Trevon Reed's not going to be here forever, and it's not going to be because he wasn't given opportunities to do other things that he might want to. He may just want to pursue opportunities outside of Auburn, and that's okay. And I love that for him in his career if that's what he decides. But for right now, I think T. Reed is good with where he is, and he's going to be staying with Auburn. So I will go facts. T. Reed stays at Auburn. Let's see here. Let's see. I don't really. Anthony Richardson says, facts in Alabama finds a head coach today. I don't really care when they find a head coach. No disrespect to your question, Anthony. They could not find a head coach for 5 months for all I care. And I'll be just fine. Let's see here. See if any other facts or not. I see a lot of conversation, but I don't see any facts or not questions. So I think I'm about to get up out of here if that's going to be the end of the facts or not questions. Boom. There we go. Chris S says facts or not. We drop an SEC road game this season versus a bottom 4 team. I think that's inevitably going to happen. The App State thing happened, and not to say that they're a bottom 4 level SEC team, but I think on the road you have a higher probability of something like this happening. I'm going to go facts and say that we're going to drop a game to somebody who everybody just assumes that we should beat because we're good. It happens in basketball all the time. A lot of teams have already in the top 4 done that, dropped games to teams that were outside of the top 25. Auburn is not immune to that type of activity. So I'm going to go facts that this will happen at some point in time this season. Let's see. P-Pass, good one here. Facts or not, women's basketball keeps within 20 versus LSU. I'm going to go facts on this one. It being a situation, I think the defense is good enough to keep this close and respectable. This is going to be all incumbent for me on how Auburn plays on the glass versus LSU in the women's basketball game. If they're able to rebound effectively and not give up a bunch of offensive rebounds specifically, they will be able to keep this game ugly and stay within 20 points. They even have, crazy as it sounds, a shot at winning that basketball game. If you guys keep up with women's basketball, Auburn just lost to Ole Miss. It was a close game that Auburn honestly could have won. Ole Miss really just took LSU down to the wire, and they play very similar styles of basketball as far as just really tough defense that forces you into doing things that you don't want to do, forcing turnovers. I think they have a good shot of keeping this game respectable, even potentially pulling off an upset in this one. Thought they had a really good shot of getting the upset against Ole Miss last night. I'm going to hope that the offense just makes makeable shots, and we'll do a better job of doing that in the Ole Miss game, coming in focused doing that. So looking forward to seeing how the women's basketball team progresses. Looking forward to watching them play LSU coming up here soon. Let's see here. Justin Thomas says, facts or not, Zach was our best recruiter. From the on-the-field staff, I will say facts on this one. I don't think he's the best recruiter in the program. I think Trevon Reed is. But, because of NCAA rules, Trevon hasn't been able to travel. So, but, listen, man, Marcus Davis is actually doing a really good job right now in his recruitment stuff. So he's probably the best recruiter right now. He was the best recruiter on that defensive staff, but I think Josh Aldridge is a hell of a recruiter. And you're bringing in Charles Kelly, who's going to be a hell of a recruiter. So I don't think that, Auburn's going to be hurting for ability to recruit. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they're able to do after Zach Etheridge leaves. So some great stuff still on the horizon for Auburn. Jonathan Boyson says, facts or nah, we win the SEC regular season or SEC tournament championship. I'm going to go facts on this one. I think that Auburn has an opportunity to do one, if not both of these things this season. Again, Kentucky and Tennessee, to me, are really good basketball teams. They're built very differently. Tennessee this season has a go-to scorer that they can just go get points from, and then they still have some very tough bucket getters in Vescovy and Josiah Jordan-James. So they're going to be tough. And then Kentucky is looking way better this season off just, their ability to get out and transition and score. They can really score this year. And because they're super athletic, of course, they're going to be tough in the half-court defense as well. But I think that Auburn has a chance to be able to do that. Lisa Daniel says, faction nah, Donaldson is MVP tomorrow. Tomorrow's game, will Trey Donaldson be the MVP? Ooh, good question. Gonna say nah on this one. I think Trey Donaldson is gonna have another solid game. I don't think for me to be an MVP, I think he's going to have to score a little bit more. And listen, man, if you saw the reports from some of the guys who were at the game, I think the first person I saw that said it doesn't mean he was the first person to report it, but Nathan King was there at the last game, and Trey Donaldson, after the game was over with, was out there getting shots up again. I think he feels as if he hasn't been producing well enough on offense, and he's motivated to do that. You know what, Lisa? I'm going to change it. I'm going to say facts. For that reason alone, I think that he has an opportunity to go out there and give us a performance on offense that will get him into, yeah, I'm going to go facts on this one. I'll roll with you on this one, facts one. Let's see. Jacob Smith jumps back in. Facts or not, we will fill some coaching spots within 48 hours. I'm going to go facts on this one. I think that there is a very good chance that, it's already been reported that Wesley McGriff, and again, so let me say this, and I'm going to have to stop giving disclaimers. I just have to say what I'm going to say. Of course, we hear about a lot more things than we say, and the rumors that Wesley McGriff, who had not signed his contract with Texas A&M but had come into agreement that he would join that staff, was potentially holding out hope to come back to Auburn. Looks as if that's going to be the case. So I would expect, if it hasn't happened already, some sort of announcement about that. I'm not looking at my email right now. I don't see anything yet. I would expect an announcement that Wesley McGriff was going to be rejoining this staff soon. I'd also expect that we are going to have an offensive coordinator hire within the next 48 hours. Defensive coordinator, not really sure what's going to be happening with that. There has not been a formal announcement of Charles Kelly from the university about what his role is going to be. I expect that's going to materialize here sometime soon. So there will be a lot of momentum as far as hirings go in the direction of Auburn coming up here within the next 48 hours. And within the next week, I expect even more of that picture to be clarified. So let's see here. Dustin Smith, our guy over at the Uptempo Pod, says facts or not, Tyler Johnson is starting at tackle by the Iron Bowl next season. I'm going to go facts on this one as well. I think Tyler Johnson is super talented. I think he is going to be in the ilk of a guy like Connor Lew for us last year, maybe not starting game one, but once he gets his opportunity, he's going to be a guy where you're like, why wasn't this guy starting the whole time? Heard very good things about him. Looking forward to seeing the progress of one Tyler Johnson. I think by the end of the year, you could see him sliding into a starting spot at the tackle opposite. So probably the right tackle. So yeah. Chris S. going back into basketball. I'm assuming facts or not, we make a top 10 appearance before February. Ooh, right now we are probably teetering. I would assume we handle business this weekend. We'll be in the top. Well, we might be in the top 10 if we win this game this weekend. So I'm going to go facts on this one. With a couple of teams ahead of us losing in conference play, Auburn handles business this weekend. Auburn will be in the top 10. Right now, we're right outside the top 15 or right there at 15, depending upon what poll you're looking at. I think we have a chance to climb into the top 10 with a dub this weekend. So I'll go facts on this one. Let's see here. The Walker Show says, faction now, Auburn goes co-offensive and co-defensive coordinators. Co-OC. I don't think the co-OC title will happen. I think that you'll just have an offensive coordinator, and Coach Hugh Freeze will be the play caller. Yeah, but co-DC I think is almost assured. So for the question in its totality, but I think portion of that is true. Let's see. JJ Brand says, facts or nah, Broom has at least 4 double-doubles this season. I think he's already got 3 on the season. He's going to get 1 more, so I'll go facts. I'll alter your question to make it going forward. Will he get 4 double-doubles for the remainder, going forth in the remainder of the season? I still say facts that he'll get 4 double-doubles at some point in time from now through the end of the season. So I'll go facts on this one any way that you want to spin this. Let's see here. Doom, doom, doom. Let's see. Austin Holland says, facts or not, Auburn gets to the playoff before Sabanless Bama with a higher seed. Ooh. This is, again, all depending upon who they hire. You got to think about it. 12-team playoff. You don't have to win the SEC now in order to do that. I think it's going to be tougher for them to win the playoff, and also who they lose, right? They're still a talented team regardless of who the coach is. So it's not as if they just automatically lose a bunch of talent. They could have a bunch of people abandon ship if this spring doesn't go well. And Auburn, I think, is still in search of a quarterback that needs to get us there. No disrespect to the incumbent. I'm going to go nah right now because I think Bama still hasn't. I think right now Bama still has an opportunity to make the playoff in this season, pending what they lose, what the attrition is in talent there and who the coach is. And Auburn is not quite there yet. We're getting there. Not quite there yet. Close. Let's see here. I'd love to be completely wrong on that, though. Let's see. I don't see any more. And there's a lot of stuff in here, guys, so I don't intentionally mean to skip anybody's question. But that's it. I'm going to get out of here, man. We got so much more that is got to happen today. So I appreciate everybody for jumping in here with me. As always, before you get out of here, please share the video, like the video, all that kind of stuff. The Morning Drop is brought to you by Rogue Shop. RogueShop.com is America's #1 online dispensary for all of your herbal supplement needs. You can go there. Sleep, stress, anxiety, pain relief. You can go there. Use code REPORT when you do. Again, like the video, subscribe to the channel before you get out of here. So much more content. Members, keep your notifications on. We got some film I'm going to try to get into today. So we'll try to see if we can slide that in. Until the next time, and as always, War Eagle.
Drop.